News. The Midday News is live on Joy 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM here in Accra. We're also live on Love 99.5 in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com. Also live in all 16 regions of Ghana via our various affiliates, live on X Spaces and Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petroleum Energy, energizing dreams. Coming up, 4 more people arrested in SML scandal after former GRA boss Reverend Amishadai was detained along with 2 others linked to massive corruption deals with the company.
Emmanuel Kofinti, who I'm told appeared very frail when he came for the interrogation, but they were given bail conditions which they could not meet. So the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I'm told, took them to the NIB last night.
We have details of those arrested, more on the scandal shortly. Also coming up, Public Utilities Regulatory Commission announces a 2.45% increase in electricity tariffs effective 1st July. Meanwhile, water tariffs remain unchanged. We have details of that as well. And University of Ghana students anxious over resurgence of COVID-19 infections, as many now fear possible disruption to the academic calendar.
I'm a bit frightened that about exiting school. I don't want to see this repeat again.
Really stirred up panic and a very huge concern in me. I know and I understand the impact, the negative impact of COVID-19 on our social life and more so on our academic life.
In sports,
Communications Director of the Ghana Boxing Authority, Amin Lamte, opens up on the resignation of President Abraham Nikwe.
And in our climate focus series, we'll tell you about how eco-conscious startup Akoshi Craft is turning coconut waste into treasure.
We're trying to save the planet. So they are considering it as waste. And even if it is waste, it shouldn't be on the streets. You understand? So we will have to recycle them.
And later in the bulletin, we'll take a look into Eswatini royal protocol and why it is forbidden to look directly into the eyes of the king's 15 wives, with custom demanding that anyone meeting the queens must divert their gaze.
Queens, their bodies solely and only reserved for the sight of His Majesty. We don't have to directly look at the queen. When you meet her, you take another way.
Well, we have details of that with me, Maame, Nyamekye, Thompson. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. This afternoon, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has arrested 4 more individuals in the ongoing SML corruption probe, bringing the total to 7. The latest arrests relate to alleged procurement breaches and covered by the Fourth Estate, led by investigative journalist Manasseh Azure Awuni. Earlier, the National Intelligence Bureau detained 3 former top officials, ex-GRA boss Reverend Dr. Amishadai Owusu Amwa, former Customs Commissioner Dr. Isaac Krenzel, and ex-technical advisor Christian Tetesoti. The investigation aims to uncover the full extent of alleged corruption and procurement violations. Lead data analyst Kofi J will join me shortly with a breakdown of the company's contracts. But before then, here's how investigative journalist Manasseh Azure Awuni broke the news on the arrest.
Both Isaac Krenzel and Christian Tetesoti now work as managers of SML, the company that GRA contracted under those dubious circumstances when they were working at GRA at the time.
They're both still in custody, right? Why are they not able to get bail, and what is the steps their lawyers are taking?
Well, I don't know for their lawyers, but information I'm getting is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor interrogated scores of people linked to the SML scandal. And then yesterday, it was the 10 of these ones, even including the former GRA Commissioner General, Emmanuel Kofinti, who I'm told appeared very frail when he came for the interrogation, but they were given bail conditions which they could not meet. So the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I'm told, took them to the NIB, formerly BNI cells, last night, and it is hoped that today or in the coming hours, their lawyers and perhaps relatives would want to find steps to meet the bail conditions so they could be released.
What roles did they play in this scandal? Have they been formally charged?
I cannot tell of the formal charges, but I know that as a Commissioner of Customs, the SML scandal started at the Customs Division at the ports. And then that was when the former Commissioner of Customs, that is Dr. Isaac Crenshaw, worked. And then Christian Tetesoti was a technical advisor to Emmanuel Kofi Inti.
Well, Kofi J is with me in the studio to tell us more on this. Kofi, we understand that additional individuals have been picked up by the OSP. Tell us more about that.
Well, Maame, so latest update posted about 4 hours ago on the OSP's X page has actually revealed the names of 5 additional suspects who have been placed under arrest in connection with the SML scandal. And Evans Eduse, CEO of SML, has been arrested. Philip Mensah, former Deputy Commissioner of Legal GRA and now legal consultant to SML. There's also Joseph Kurug and Faustina Joko, both staff of the Public Procurement Authority, and Kofi Inti, former Commissioner of GRA. All of them arrested. So 5 additional, persons arrested in connection with the scandal.
Well, indeed, this scandal has been going on for some time, but remind us about it. What's it really about?
Well, in fact, SML commenced operations on February 14, 2017, barely a month after President Akufo-Addo actually, assumed office. It's reportedly an offshoot of a timber company with no known expertise or track record in revenue assurance at the time. Now, despite that, SML was awarded a contract to actually provide revenue assurance and monitoring service across Ghana's petroleum downstream and upstream sectors, as well as the gold production industry, to curb revenue leakages. And in fact, Maame, it is also alleged that SML actually says that it has received over $141 million in questionable contracts from the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Ministry of Finance. This is the total amount of money that has been alleged that SML has received in connection with this, contract.
Well, also, what roles did these arrested officials play in the alleged scandal?
Well, first, the contracts were actually orchestrated, allegedly, by the then former Finance Minister Kenneth Ofori-Atta, who is now wanted by the OSP in actually for corruption-related charges, including the SML deal itself. And in fact, former officials of GRA who approved or facilitated the deals have also been implicated, some of whom later secured positions at SML. For instance, Reverend Dr. Amishadai Owusu Amwa, the former Commissioner General of GRA, is alleged to have ratified the SML contract despite clear legal red flags and the absence of procurement approvals. Dr. Isaac Crenshaw, who served as the Commissioner of Customs during the formation of the SML deal, is now the General Manager at SML, and Christian Tetesoti, a former technical advisor to GRA, a commissioner and Commissioner General at the time, currently serves as the Managing Director of SML.
Well, there have been some findings and also some report by KPMG. What did it reveal? Well,
so a KPMG audit later confirmed that SML actually didn't add measurable value to Ghana's revenue collection process. And in fact, it says that the findings shows the SML's work didn't influence revenue, improvement as claimed. Now, existing systems like the ERDMs and the ICAMs were already doing the work, and the Public Procurement Authority (PPA) denied approval for the deal multiple times. Yet the GRA and the Finance Ministry still went ahead to award the contract.
Thank you so much. Kofi J is lead data analyst with Joy News. Now, moving on, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission (PURC) has announced a 2.45% increase in electricity tariffs across all customer categories effective 1st July 2025 as part of its quarterly review mechanism. The tariff adjustment, which applies to residential, non-residential, and special load tariff customers, is based on a detailed analysis of macroeconomic and operational factors, including inflation, exchange rate fluctuations, and rising fuel costs. According to a statement issued by the Commission, the upward review is necessary to sustain utility service providers and ensure a reliable electricity supply. And Joy News editor First Smith joins me with details of the statement. Fred.
Well, the PRC says the adjustment takes into account a projected average inflation rate of 20.67%, a Ghana cedi to US dollar exchange rate of 10.3 Ghana cedis, and an increase in the weighted average cost of gas to 7.7134 MMBTU. And it says the Commission has carefully analyzed these existing parameters and, considering the competitiveness of industries and the general living conditions of Ghanaians, has approved the 2.5% increase in electricity tariff across board and 0% increment in water tariff. The statement concluded. It says the third quarter's generation mix remains unchanged, with 28.8% from hydro and 71.2% from thermal sources. The Commission also factored in 488 million Ghana cedis in outstanding revenue from previous quarters, as well as the cost implications of maintaining reserve capacity to end grid stability.
Thank you, Fred Smith. Now, the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Seaboard, is calling on the Energy Minister to intervene in what it describes as the persistent disruption of the Laken import schedule by the National Petroleum Authority. In a strongly worded statement, Seaboard sharply rebuked the NPA, accusing the regulator of violating a presidential directive on the orderly berthing and discharge of petroleum products at the Tema port. The Laken schedule, jointly developed by industry stakeholders, was designed to streamline fuel imports, avoid port congestion, and ensure pricing and supply stability. Now, the Chamber warns that continued interference has resulted in high demurrage charges on petroleum imports, ultimately increasing cost for consumers. And Fred Smith is once again in the studio with me to give us details of this. Fred, the Chamber is concerned about the financial impact these revisions have on bulk import distribution and export companies. Tell us more about that.
Well, according to them, each revision typically affects around 10 cargoes, resulting in an estimated 30 days of disruption, resulting in additional costs such as unplanned demurrage and hedge-related losses. So, take for instance the Bidex incurred over 40 million US dollars in demurrage and associated costs due to delays caused by the revisions, and we know this will significantly burden consumers with increased fuel prices.
And Fred, tell us about some of the issues which arises from the violation of this protocol.
Well, according to the statement, Bidex without assigned slots are allowed to berth outside the schedule, compromising transparency and fairness in the sector. And that on the 23rd of June, which is yesterday, 2 days ago, the NPA authorized the berthing and discharge of the vessel MT Marlin Ametrine, violating the official Laken schedule. As mentioned earlier, each unauthorized berthing increases logistical confusion, demurrage costs, and distorts fuel pricing, and thereby distributing to higher fuel prices for consumers.
All right. Thank you so much, Fred, for that update. Well, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana is asking the Energy Ministry to immediately stop the interference with Laken's schedule. Let's hear from the Executive Secretary of the Chamber, Duncan Amwa.
At the end of the day, if I am an oil trader, I have 5 vessels, right? I am taking 2 or 3 to the West African coast, 1 or 2 to Ghana. And I know the vessel will come and unnecessarily delay or waste time. If I can send it to Turkey or Greece or any of the European destinations, or even China, India, where they will follow a strict schedule, I will take the vessel there, go and discharge, and take my money. Mind you, the Ghanaian market is strictly a credit-basis market. We don't often pay cash for cargo that comes in 35 days, 45 days, 90 days credit. And if the person can take the cargo elsewhere where they can get cash for discharging their product, your market will not be attractive, especially when they cannot even tell if they brought the cargo in on the 20th, when the cargo or the vessel will be free to, set sail again. You are simply making your coast very unattractive to the international oil market. We need to put a stop to this, and I'm charging the Minister for Energy to stamp his authority down and ensure that this sad practice is not allowed to fester. It's been 1 disruption, 2 disruptions, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 16. The last one was Monday. And I think that if the minister doesn't stamp his authority, it will get to a point where fuel that should have been sold for 10 cedis for you and I will still be sold for 12 because the companies are incurring huge charges on demurrage and they will need to pass it on. You and I will pay for it.
Dankana Moa there, while spokesperson and head of communications of the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Richmond Roxon, is on the line with us. We're grateful for your time on the Midday News. Does these disruptions, have they come to the attention of the ministry yet?
Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to your cherished listeners. The Minister of Energy and Green Transition has taken note of these concerns. The petitioners wrote directly to His Excellency the President. The President has engaged the Minister, and the Minister is handling the issues. The first thing is that this morning, the Minister has had an engagement with stakeholders of the industry, which includes the BDCs in their chamber, the oil marketing companies in their chamber, the National Petroleum Authority, the Thermal Oil Refinery, bulk oil storage and transportation limited, and all our stakeholders. At the meeting, concerns of stakeholders were addressed by the Minister. Suggestions have also been made, and in the coming days, a roadmap will be announced. The Minister takes strong exception to what is happening, the complaints by players, and will resolve this issue in the coming days.
Well, Mr. Roxon, what reasons are behind these disruptions?
Hello?
Mr. Roxon, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm asking what reasons are behind the disruptions, about 16 of them.
Like I mentioned, these concerns have been brought to the attention of the Minister, and in the coming days, the roadmap will be announced. It's going to be a transparent one, a clear stage roadmap, and the issue will be dealt with precisely.
Well, that point has been made, but were there reasons for the disruptions made to the Lycan schedule?
The Lycan schedule means we don't want to go into details, like I mentioned. This meeting was convened at the instance of the Minister, and all concerns have been checked by the Minister, and the roadmap will be announced. Once the roadmap is announced, every problem that has been encountered by the BDCs or the oil marketing companies or the traders will be addressed.
Well, the importers are also complaining of incurring additional cost. Is the ministry going to take up that and maybe help them with that?
Do you mean will the ministry pay for the cost?
Yes.
No, absolutely. That cannot be. The cost can only be incurred by government. You know, there's a challenge with infrastructure. We are at where we are because of the single mooring system that we have in Ghana. The industry has been growing over the years, but the infrastructure development has not been at the pace at which the industry has grown. So you have a lot of cargoes coming, and they will have to delay as a result of the discharge system or the mooring system that we have. Government has put in place plans to establish another mooring system to be able to deal with the problem. That is the long-term view, but immediately the minister will take steps to ensure that the Lycan schedule is strictly adhered to, and the minister made that commitment at the meeting.
Right. Thank you very much, Richmond Roxon, a spokesperson for the Energy Ministry. Tears and sorrow in Cape Coast as another building collapses, leaving one person dead and another hospitalized. The latest incident happened early Tuesday when residential structures caved in trapping two occupants. A woman later died at Cape Coast Teaching Hospital while a man is receiving treatment. This comes just days after a similar incident happened in the area, killing two elderly residents and injuring three others, raising fresh concerns about the building safety in Cape Coast. Let's go on the phone lines now and get updates from our correspondent Abigail Hardin. Abigail, what's the latest on this incident? Abigail, reposition yourself and speak to us. The line is unstable. Okay. Can you hear me now? Unfortunately, the line is bad. But she had earlier been speaking to the MC. We'll listen to that and then get back to Abigail.
We send there. You saw to away. Or say, and then it would then ma no that simply. You two Yoko near Koshema or Sade. Nimpa Ebien on Amdumo was sure wonka. The assembly is in your day. Oboka Koshem Bienbia, and then I'll hold na we too. Zos said, Mpayful one come home and we bun. Until you could die, you boo, and then be a watcher.
This morning, I have been at the scene. When I arrived at the scene, I had to call the relevant agencies, Urban Roads, that's the engineers, and NADMO. I came to meet the Ghana National Fire Service here, and we have been deliberating on ways to handle the situation.
Our bomb was in our film, the cup baby. Now, you shouldn't be in the answer there. I said, being able to our bomb, I restore the Medan and I are sending here. Only I'm watching 1 o'clock. Issue man was it from there? As I may see, Ayedan, Emi Sechi, Oye Alote Jacobs, Nebus Yefe, Oye Missichi, as I may see. Eh, now by sending on the way, see, Ono Praji the Mutumaka and Baba. Mubobra Hano, no, Denukoso, Ebu.
And you had the MC in explaining the incident there. Well, we have Abigail back on the line. Abigail, what's the latest?
So it's been a very sad past few days. The people of Cape Coast, we are still getting over the incident that happened on Saturday, and to receive this news this dawn in another facility in the same Cape Coast, the people are very sad, very solemn. It's been serious since the incident. Currently, we know that the affected patients have been rushed to the hospital, where one a grandmother was concerned that her grandson, an 18-year-old, is currently receiving treatment at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. So it's been a very sad day, actually barely a week for the people of Cape Coast. And the MC says he's going to work together with all the security agencies to ensure that this doesn't become a normal thing in Cape Coast.
All right, Abigail Hardin there giving us updates from Cape Coast. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a break. We'll return with sports and also University of Ghana students anxious over COVID-19 case resurgence as many now fear possible disruption to the academic calendar.
I'm a bit frightened about exiting school. I don't want to see this repeat again.
Really stirred up panic and a very huge concern in me. I know and I understand the impact, the negative impact of COVID-19 on our social life and more so on our academic life.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petroleum station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petroleum, clean fuel in full quantity.
When I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth with Kale Charcoal toothpaste. This gives me confidence all day.
Anytime you meet Amma, don't be surprised I smile showing my beautiful white teeth because I don't have cavity thanks to Kale Charcoal toothpaste for its natural charcoal properties. In fact, we are like twins. I can't go without my Kale Charcoal toothpaste.
That be why I use Kale Charcoal toothpaste morning and night when I go bed safe. It make my teeth white when it comot every scent from my mouth inside. My confidence level they go up, so I dey show my 32 teeth all.
Introducing the Kale Charcoal toothpaste formulated with activated bamboo charcoal powder, ensures whiter teeth and removes bad breath. The strong natural property of the activated bamboo charcoal removes bacteria, absorbs surface stains on our teeth caused by coffee, wines, and tobacco. Welcome, Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Sankofa Yenchi.
Kel, happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
At DSTV, we listen to what our customers want. That's why we've cooked something big for you. From now to 31st July, pay your subscription and get an instant upgrade to the next higher package for free. Enjoy the best of drama, awesome entertainment for the kids, reality shows, epic Ghanaian talent, family fun, and the FIFA Club World Cup. Pay with *759# and get upgraded instantly. Terms and conditions apply. DSTV, your home of entertainment.
Welcome back to the Midday News. Mubarak has the latest from sports.
Yes, Maame, so the Ghana Boxing Authority President Abraham Kote Nikwe has officially resigned from his position just weeks after a committee recommended the dissolution of the current GBA leadership. Now, according to Communications Director Amin Lamte, a disagreement with Sports Minister Kofi Adams contributed to Abraham's decision to step down.
Ever since Nigerian boxing,
Abraham has not been well. There has been issues after the death of the Nigerian boxer. Sports minister had told him he can't work with him. The two belong to the same political party, but could not work together. Abraham has also lost his elder sister, and so he decided to resign. It is not as if he is being paid. He felt it was time to go for someone to come and continue.
It's better I need to take leave. I was a man call.
That's Amin Lamte, the spokesperson for the Ghana Boxing Authority.
Thank you, Mubarak. Now, students at the University of Ghana are expressing growing anxiety following news of a resurgence in COVID-19 cases on campus, with many worried the outbreak could lead to disruptions in the academic calendar, similar to the widespread school closures during the height of the pandemic. The concerns come after the University's Health Services Directorate yesterday issued a public alert confirming both suspected and confirmed COVID-19 cases within the university's immediate surroundings. And there's more in a statement that was released yesterday, and Michael Ashali gives us details of the statement. Michael.
Well, this is a statement signed, Maame, as you said, by the Health Services Directorate, and says that the Health Services Directorate would like to inform the university community of a recent resurgence in COVID-19 cases, with a few suspected and confirmed cases reported in our immediate vicinity. In light of this development, all staff, students, visitors are strongly advised to remain vigilant and strictly adhere to the following recommended preventive measures, which includes wearing face masks properly, washing hands frequently, and maintaining physical distances. Also continue to say that the Health Directorate has reactivated its COVID-19 response protocols, including screening and triage measures at health facilities, and they are also monitoring the situation closely and will provide regular updates. Maame.
Thank you so much, Michael. Now, while no restrictions have been announced yet, students say the news is already affecting their academic and social routines.
Looking at what transpired 3 years ago when schools were closed down because of the increasing numbers of recorded cases and all that, I'm a bit frightened that about exiting school. I don't want to see this repeat again.
Really stirred up panic and a very huge concern in me. This is because I know and I understand the impact, the negative impact of COVID-19 on our social life, on our personal life, and more so on our academic life. We saw how COVID-19 changed the whole academic routine into.
Well, they're sold on nearly every street in Accra, fresh, sweet and satisfying. But once the coconut water is gone and the flesh scooped out, what's left behind is becoming a growing environmental concern. But Akoshi Crafts is finding innovative ways to transform this waste into something beautiful and sustainable. Esther Nkrumah is more in today's Climate Focus series.
If you ever traveled along the Adabraka Road opposite the Iran Hospital in Accra, you're likely to have seen it. A towering heap of coconut husk, stacked high. But behind this pile is Ayoko, who has spent years collecting this husk. She tells me what first inspired her to start this.
Some coconut sellers used to litter the streets with husks after selling.
Whenever it rained, the entire area became messy. But since I started collecting them, they no longer dump the waste into gutters or on the streets. Instead, they bring the coconut waste here, where recyclers pick it up.
Ghanaians consume coconut every day, but the husk they toss onto the street, damp in drains or burnt in open spaces. Some local innovators are choosing a different path. Akoshi Craft is transforming discarded coconut shells into beautiful jewelry, bowls and souvenirs. Anne is an administrative assistant at Akoshi Craft.
So we saw the need to transform these coconut shells, which many consider as waste, into something beautiful or useful or sustainable products.
But this is not just about coconut shells. It's about something much bigger.
I mean, we want to eradicate the use of plastics. We want to take it out from there.
Climate Focus is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
And that's it for our midday news here on Joe 99.7 FM. I am Nyamekye Thompson. Up next is Living Word with Pastor Mensa.